Hey there, how's it going? Adrienne Elise here. I just thought I would pop in and talk to you about what's going on in the planets and the stars. So today, welcome to the Gaia Daily for September 9th through 12th. So right now what's happening is that the Sun and Mars continue to be close. There's that exact conjunction. The Sun and Mars was on the 1st of this month, but they have stayed very close as they move together over these degrees. And right now, the Sun is in square, exact to Jupiter, and almost exact in its opposition with Neptune. And Mars is coming right into that as well. So this is a culmination energy of this 2-week period of time of this mutable T-square. We've talked about how this mutable energy is a time of adjustment. And that has a really interesting energy because, of course, it means that in a time of adjusting, it's hard to keep perspective on where you come from and where you're going, and a very much a loss of direction, especially as the Sun and Mars, both action planets, are in this mutable confusion. So it's a little hard to see right now what the point of it is and where we're going and what we're doing. And the Sun and Mars in this T-square is bringing up a huge energy of ego death. Now, we've been wrestling with this energy all for a whole year, over a year, since that Mars retrograde last year. And these feelings are coming up really huge right now, because that's kind of the deal. Mars took that retrograde in July of last year, so over a year ago, 2018, and now has just caught back up to the Sun. And so we're having a reconciliation. The Sun is our identity, our personality, who we think we are. And Mars went on that incredible journey back through Aquarius, speaking to what do we need to change in our way of being, our way of acting in the world, and our will in order to move into this Aquarian age. It got quite an upgrade and a download, it seems like. And now that information is coming back to be assimilated into our reality, and it's bringing up these same feelings of ego death. It's a feeling of everything being ripped away that you thought you were. Now, it's interesting because in order to get to a more sense of who you really are and what's really important to you, there is this process where it feels like everything goes away and nothing's important. And so it's really important to know that this is just temporary. Okay, this is a culmination, apex energy that's going to continue into the energy of this full moon in Pisces. And the full moon in Pisces that's happening on Friday is actually giving us an opportunity to actually the full moon is Saturday in most of the world. It's giving us an opportunity to completely break with the past. And so of course we're having a teeing up with this T-square, looking at the delusions of our past and our belief systems around who we think we are. Now, so much of our issues in this particular lifetime have to do with personality constructs that have not been resolved or integrated from other lifetimes. That often happens when a difficult situation or a trauma has occurred in a past life. And then any flaws in that personality construct get kind of cemented in and stuck. And right now we're sorting through all of this with this Virgo energy. You know, all these are personal planets in Virgo, and Virgo wants to clean up and sort through, but it's a process because Virgo is a mutable sign as well, right? And so it's about sorting through, it's about adjusting. Now, there's a beautiful energy of adjusting where we can have a vision, an idea of something we want to create, and then we are working with the universe where we're adjusting to make it work and seeing it through to the end, right? And then there's another energy with this adjusting where you adjust so much you lose who you are and you lose your direction completely. And so for a lot of people right now, what's coming up in this identity overhaul is like everywhere that you've given away yourself to everything else and all the lies and all of the things, you know, it could be profession or ancestral programming or anything that you've experienced in past lives or this life, where you adopted this identity that actually doesn't fit who you really are. And so the ego death is necessary because we have got to break down everything that's false, but we also feel like we're breaking. And that's kind of part of it. It's a deep vulnerability that actually has a beautiful essence energy to it. And that's kind of going to be the gift of this full moon, to tap into the gift. Now, the picture that I'm seeing around this is a broken cup, that we are here ultimately to be the souls, at least, that are conscious on some level, that are drawn to this work that we've been talking with and about. These light worker souls are here on the planet specifically to be a container for the divine. And yet we've gotten so far away from it with just trying to get through our daily life, and so lost from that divine purpose. And this is deliberate, programming in our world that we need to overcome and evolve beyond and claim back this deeper purpose and meaning. But as we're doing this process, we have to, what's coming up is everything we've clung to that doesn't actually resonate. And it feels like everything is washing away, like nothing matters, there's no point to anything, and this is a big energy that's trying to work out of the collective right now. And I'm feeling it on the astral plane as well. A lot of stuck souls are kind of waking up to the fact that they're stuck, no longer in a body, but not having gone back to source, and issues that are affecting our whole collective, especially as a sensitive soul. You could be feeling this energy of these souls really confused about almost whether they're alive or dead, and maybe still stuck grappling with what was unfinished, particularly souls where their life was taken or they took their own life. And these souls are waking up to this right now. And of course, where we've been numb and to what's going on when we go to heal, we have to feel those feelings. And that's kind of what's happening. It's a beautiful thing because it's an opportunity for a lot of energy to be moved in the lower astral plane that's been keeping, part of the lower grid system. And the quarantine of this world, of the lower vibrational matrix, is kept in place by these souls that have not been able to complete their experience on Earth, but they no longer have a body. And so this is trying to clear out. But if, as a sensitive soul, you may be feeling this, and it may be a heaviness and emotionality and attachment energy to something that it doesn't even make sense at all. There's no logical reason behind these emotions and heaviness and this intensity, but maybe that is partly what you're coming to learn and discover about yourself, about your incredible gifts at being able to support and help energies in other realms as well as this realm, even though you're quarantined here on Earth, Now, so what's happening is with this ego death, this facing of the lies and the falseness that we've made our purpose, it feels like our cup is spilling out and emptying, and it's like we can't hold on to anything, But really, it's about building a new and better cup, like almost like the cup can be a symbol, or it kind of almost represents our physical body, but the mechanism of our construct of our personality that gives us some sort of structure to be able to make it through this. And of course, with Neptune and these heavy duty Neptune transits, Neptune is about dissolving. And so we're in this dissolving process. But what if it's dissolving all of the lies that we've clung to? And now it's time to put our cup back together in a more sustainable way that's coming from a place of connection to our true self. And the picture I'm seeing is that don't lose hope. Hope is the only thing we have right now in this intense squeezing energies, which are only going to last a few more days, right? We got about a week left of this energy, so just know it's going to move to something different. But it feels like so much hopelessness and failure and regret, and like, what's the point, is coming up for souls. And like I said, a lot of souls that are waking up to the fact that they're stuck on the astral plane. And so it's just this big blooming, but we've got to put ourselves back together, because the picture is that, this has to break. The false world has to break. That's what these astrology is all about right now with Pluto and Capricorn. And we're coming up with massive, because Saturn's getting ready to turn direct this month on the 18th, heading into that conjunction with Pluto and defining the next year and a half of our reality. And so we're looking at this. Our world has to break the false lies, the false things we cling to, and this is what it feels like. It's almost like we're going through the feeling of like when you do say you've lived a life where everybody around you and all the forces of this world told you what was important was the physical material items, fame, like accumulation of accomplishments, right? And then you lose your body, you no longer have a body. And so then those things don't actually have any bearing. And so you don't know who you are, and you're kind of lost and you're kind of stuck. And it's like a long process that some souls, the more materialistic the lineage and the energies of a certain lifetime as a soul, the more difficult it is to release from this world and go back to source. And so this is what we're doing. We're literally going through this death process, this grief process of letting go of the falseness. But we're so it's the only thing we know, the falseness, and so it's like falling away, and it feels like there's this big emptiness and an unknown feeling and a trepidation of that unknown. And we really seems like all going through this death process so we can be reborn, right? So we can heal these forgotten, hidden places and these false identities of buying in to who this world told us we were as a materialistic creature that's only here to accumulate. You're going through this death process, but it's an opportunity to put ourselves back together in an unfailable cup, to build a new structure where we can host the divine energies in the way we can. So when it's the darkest, squeeziest energy like we're feeling right now, that's actually when you have the biggest opportunity to take big strides towards what you're really here for, which doesn't make sense in this realm, but some sort of inkling of knowing that there's something more real about you that lives through every lifetime, that doesn't ever die. That's why we're here, to remember who we really are. And so these times are pushing us deeper and deeper within, through the broken pieces, through all the old stories, through all those, the broken cup is these failures, so-called failures from past lives, of like never being able to accomplish your dreams and desires, and now with Jupiter and Sagittarius coming up with this intense third and final square with Neptune, and how these personal planets are highlighting all of this, is like really bringing up this feeling. But maybe this feeling is attached to some false ideas or this materialism, and it's kind of like those false identities have to fall away, they have to die. And so kind of, I don't know, the message I'm getting is like kind of let the cup spill out, right? Let it break and surrender to this breaking, because the breaking is what's allowing the light of truth to come in, the true meaning and purpose. And we know that's there for us, right? We can sense somewhere, even if we have the darkest feelings and the darkest times, the most squeezing energies, we can sense that there's something bigger and more true deep inside of us. And we're being forced to then all the stories and break down all the delusions. And there is a reconciliation going on between our ego and failed accomplishments of our ego and the true desires of our soul and the bigger, wider dream, right? So Jupiter in Sagittarius is about expanding our knowledge and expanding our understanding. And Neptune in Pisces is the bigger picture, the whole, the collective, the oneness, consciousness, but also it's like very confusing there, right? It's like we go out, you're in duality consciousness and you're dealing with non-duality consciousness, and it's a hall of mirrors and everything is false. Nothing is true anymore. This is where we are in our world right now. You can see it in the collective of what's happening in the world too, if you look at it in just the right way. And so, just sit tight and be present with this. It's a very short period of time that this is happening, but it is a culmination of the last couple of years of astrology pushing us deeper into our essential self. And once you connect with that, you cannot, it would be hard to go back into the false identities and play out those roles that don't really have deeper meaning. So it's like there's a huge message here with, if we take the beautiful parts of the Neptune and Pisces and Jupiter and Sagittarius of like really expanding our true knowledge, true connection to source. Because the problem with the oneness consciousness from the Piscean age is that the oneness consciousness was used to control us through religious ideas. And so now we have to forge a new way back to source that doesn't have any limitations or requirements. All of this we've gone through in the Piscean age is all about getting back to our direct connection to God. Without having to go through all these hoops and loops. And maybe that's what we're being shown right now, because the hoops and loops are just indicative and vibrationally in alignment with all this falseness. So it's like, yes, we live in a world with a whole bunch of lies, but where have we bought into them? Where have we had to buy into them? And so now we're being given an opportunity to escape the matrix is really what's happening. But it's almost like in order to do that, you have to go through this little tiny pinhole, and we're already kind of squeezed into this reality of narrow confines, in this grid of technological control. And it's like we're being asked to get even smaller, and kind of squeeze through this pinhole and leave everything behind that somehow made it so that we could make through our life and make sense of our life. And all of that is falling away. So it's an intense time, but know that there's what's happening right now is huge differentiation, and souls like you are feeling it about this of the broken cup, is that you're all alone. Nobody else cares. Nobody else is going through this. Nobody else, has this hole inside of them that they're trying to figure out how to get back to some sense of meaning and purpose in life. So it's intense time, but we're in it together. So just don't forget that. And I hope to see you on the the Pisces full moon activation that's happening this Friday at 10 a.m. That's Mountain Time in the US. That's 9 a.m. on the West Coast and noon on the East Coast. And that's exactly 12 hours before this Pisces full moon. We're going to just move into this energy and make the most of it and have that complete break with the past, move into the oneness principle, reconnect with our true essential self, and just kind of heal, rest, and integrate, put our cup back together so that we can be ready for this 2020 astrology. So I'll be back with more updates about that in these upcoming weeks. And I look forward to seeing you then or on the activation or next time. So until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Thanks for tuning in. Namaste.